What's going on, everybody? It's Game Unboxing Reviews here, and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga news update. Now, I get asked a lot of questions about this game, and it sometimes surprises me just how little people know about it. So I thought, why not make a video which tells you every single thing that we know so far, all in one place? And that is exactly what I did. So this video should answer every question that you have until we receive more news this year. Anyway, guys, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so developed by TT Games in collaboration with the Lucasfilm Games team and published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is the biggest LEGO video game that the company has ever made, and is in fact not a remaster or a remake of any previously released LEGO Star Wars title. The entire game has been built completely from the ground up using a brand new engine, as this now allows the team to be able to create more photorealistic graphics and add greater attention to detail, such as sand particles which will collect on characters and objects in specific environments. Next up, let's talk about the story. So in the main campaign, you'll be able to play through memorable Star Wars moments from all 9 episodes, in levels inspired by the Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and of course, The Rise of Skywalker in any order that you see fit. So for instance, if you really wanted to, you could start off by jumping right into The Rise of Skywalker, then launch Attack of the Clones, and later play through A New Hope, which wouldn't make any sense, but the choice in how you navigate your journey throughout the Skywalker Saga is entirely up to you. Now, every episode will be split into 5 newly designed levels, with each being around 10 to 15 minutes long, as they concentrate on the key parts of the story, such as boss battles and vehicle sections, like the underwater descent into the core of the planet of Naboo in Episode 1, and Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi's duel on Mustafar in Episode 3. Both of the game's trailers have also teased levels based on Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan's fight with Darth Maul on Naboo, as well as the Droid Factory infiltration on Geonosis, the attack on the Tantive IV, the Cloud City trap with Luke Skywalker's duel with Darth Vader, plus the destruction of Jabba the Hutt sail barge on Tatooine, the escape from Jakku with Rey and Finn, Rey and Kylo Ren's duel on Starkiller Base, as well as Luke and Kylo's battle on Crait, and of course Ren's encounter with Rey on the planet of Pasaana. In addition to this, a behind the scenes look at the game has also revealed what appears to be the interiors to the Invisible Hand and Supreme Leader Snoke's throne room, which will more than likely feature in levels based on Episode 3 and Episode 8 respectively. Each level can also be completed in more than one way thanks to the challenge point system, which acts as mid-level achievements, essentially rewarding the player for playing around with the environment. So for example, if you're in the middle of a boss battle, you could force push boxes at your enemy, drop them down somewhere, or even just pull down a trapdoor. Now, other specific moments from the saga will instead be experienced in the open world, such as Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan's arrival on the Trade Federation ship. Luke Skywalker's fight with a Rancor in Episode 6 is also confirmed to feature as a playable section, and with the release of the new Countdown trailer, we also now know that the destruction of Jabba the Hutt sail barge is a level, so that can only mean that the Rancor fight will take place at some point during free roam. And according to a user on Reddit named Mailman Liam, the player can access a new level by following arrows in the sky. This will eventually lead to a text prompt popping up on the screen asking you if you would like to play that level, although I'm not sure if that applies to the main levels, open world missions, or both. Up next, let's talk about the voice cast. So all 9 episodes will be reimagined with classic LEGO fun and humour, brought to life by a fully voiced cast of Lucasfilm approved actors. And while the cast list has yet to be revealed, we do know that Matthew Wood, who is the supervising sound editor at Lucasfilm and the voice behind General Grievous, is working on this title in some capacity. And those that were lucky enough to be able to see the game behind closed doors at E3 last year have said that Han Solo sounded a lot like Harrison Ford. Although personally, I think Solo will probably just be voiced by a really good sound-alike. But if the new trailer is anything to go by, then Billy D. Williams could definitely be voicing Lando Calrissian once again. However, TT Games have also said that they are looking into potentially adding the classic mumbling from the original LEGO Star Wars games in some manner, but at this time they have yet to officially go into any specific details on just how exactly that will work in this game. Moving on, let's talk characters. So the main game will include over 200 playable heroes and villains, and while the full roster has yet to be revealed, from the prequel trilogy we have seen and heard about Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi as a Padawan and a Jedi Master from Episode 3, as well as a droideka, Jar Jar Binks, Queen Amidala, Darth Maul with his hood up and down, plus Jango Fett, Mace Windu, Count Dooku, Chancellor Palpatine, and Anakin Skywalker from Episode 3. Now, from the original trilogy we have seen and heard about C-3PO, R2-D2, a Gonk Monk Droid, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker in his farm boy, Bespin and Return of the Jedi attire, plus Ben Kenobi, Chewbacca, Han Solo in his A New Hope, Hoth and Endor clothes, as well as Princess Leia in her Hoth and Endor outfit, plus a Wampa, a Rancor, Yoda, Lando Calrissian in his Skiff-Guard disguise and Bespin clothes, Boba Fett, Wicket the Ewok, and Emperor Palpatine. In addition to this, Hoth Rebel troopers, a pilot, a Skiff Guard, and a Scout Trooper have also been spotted in the game's screenshots. Lastly, for characters from the sequel trilogy, we have seen and heard about Kylo Ren from The Force Awakens with his mask on and off, plus his unmasked Last Jedi variant, as well as Captain Phasma, BB-8, Finn, Rey with her quarterstaff from The Force Awakens, plus Rose Tico, Force Projection Luke from Episode 8, and finally Dio the Droid, Poe Dameron, and Jedi Rey from The Rise of Skywalker. Reddit user Mailman Liam has also revealed that when switching between characters, each character will say a different catchphrase after you have selected them. Each character will also feature their own idle animations, so for instance, if you leave Luke Skywalker idle for long enough, you might see him take a big gulp from a glass of blue milk. Next up, we're going to go into a lot more detail about the gameplay itself. So this time around, the game will feature a much closer and personal, fully controllable, cinematic-like 360-degree camera, which will be present at all times, easy to rotate, and is said to be at a very healthy distance and angle when in its default position. And thanks again to Reddit user Mailman Liam, we also now know that the interface in this game will be similar to the HUD that was seen in LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens, although not exactly the same. Now in terms of abilities, we know that you'll of course be able to use a lightsaber to cut through specific objects, but also that C-3PO can translate other droid languages, and he even has the ability to completely fall apart at the click of a button at any time, allowing you to freely be able to play as just his body or legs if you so wish. As for the combat system, it has been completely redesigned. Lightsaber combat is now fluid and deeper with a natural and realistic feel, allowing you to discover your own combos with a mix of light, mid, and heavy attacks. While gunplay now features a new third-person, over-the-shoulder Gears of War-like camera, which you can then use to freely aim and fire at any individual part on an enemy. So if you shoot the head, you might shoot the helmet off or do more damage, but if you shoot the legs, you can separate the bottom of the minifigure from the torso. Each enemy is also said to have a health bar above their heads, and damage numbers will come off them after you've successfully hit them. However, the Force is definitely the most impressive new change in this game, because this time around you now have full control to completely manipulate any LEGO objects in the environment, such as rocks, bushes, and even enemies, which you can then rotate, stack up on top of each other, and even throw. Some players are also reporting that you can apparently even use the Force to pile up multiple objects into what can only be described as a big Katamari-like ball. You can also perform the Jedi Mind-Trick ability, which allows you to force enemies, creatures, and other NPCs to dance, as well as sing, but also become distracted and even turn against their allies. The AI has also been completely redone because this time around, depending on who you're playing as, each fight will play out differently. So if an enemy spotted you as Luke Skywalker, they would react completely differently to if you were playing as Han Solo. Up next, we're going to talk about the open world. So you'll be able to fully explore the open area of space over each planet, and along the way, you may run into some random encounters. One of which that we know about is that you might see a super Star Destroyer suddenly come out of hyperspace, which you can then choose to ignore or attack head on. If you do this, this will then lead to the destroyer deploying multiple TIE fighters to swarm your ship, which will result in a dynamic dogfight through space as you take out the remaining fighters, lower the shields, and eventually destroy the vessel itself. However, you'll only run into enemies that make sense for the episode that you're currently playing, so you wouldn't, for example, see any of the First Order during episode 1. You'll also use space as a way of accessing each episode in the saga by selecting one of the 9 little LEGO dioramas that represent all of the films. So for instance, the Phantom Menace mini build will showcase Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and a droideka, while the Empire Strikes Back build will feature Luke and a Wampa. Now in terms of vehicles, there are said to be over 150, the most that TT Games have ever put into a LEGO video game, and so far we know that you'll be able to fly the Millennium Falcon, TIE Fighters, First Order TIE Fighters, Resistance X-Wings, the GAT-12 Skip Ray Blast Boat, and the Alpha Class XG-1 Starwing Assault Gunboat. We've also seen and heard about the Imperial Shuttle, T-47 Airspeeder, Rebel Alliance X-Wings, T-16 Skyhopper, and Kylo Ren's TIE Whisper from the Rise of Skywalker, but at this time all of these vehicles have yet to be confirmed as unlockable, but I wouldn't doubt it. It's also worth mentioning that in the far right corner in this screenshot there appears to be silhouettes of Jedi starfighters. There's also of course land vehicles, two of which that we know of so far are pod racers and land speeders, but it has also been confirmed that we'll be able to control all of the ATs that you see throughout the saga. Now, as well as the normal size ships, you'll also be able to purchase the big ships using in-game studs, and once you've bought one, you can then dock inside them with a smaller ship and freely explore all of the areas that you would expect to find inside that particular interior, such as the deck and the hangar of the Star Destroyer, which would be made entirely of just Lego. Another example of this feature is that it has also been confirmed that you'll be able to purchase the Death Star and explore that interior, and since you start out inside the Trade Federation ship in free roam in episode 1, we can probably assume that you'll also be able to purchase and explore that ship as well. As well as this, the Republic attack cruiser, Invisible Hand, and the interiors for the First Order's Supremacy Mega-Class Star Dreadnought and the Millennium Falcon have also been spotted, but there is currently no word on if we'll actually be able to purchase and explore these ships in this game, although it does seem very likely. Now, once you've finished exploring an open area of space, you can freely fly to any of the planets that you have unlocked at any time. Those of which that we know about so far are the deserts of Geonosis, the swamps of Dagobah, which include Yoda's Hutt as an explorable interior, plus the snowfields of Starkiller Base, as well as Hoth, Endor, Cloud City on Bespin, Naboo, Coruscant's Galactic City and Uskru District, plus Mustafar, Utapau, Crait, Yavin 4's Rebel Base, Kashyyyk, Jakku, Canto Bight, Kamino, and Tatooine. Now, once you enter a planet's atmosphere, you can choose where you would like to land from a limited selection of sites, and then explore everything that a planet has to offer. So for instance, in Tatooine, you can freely explore the Lars homestead, home of course to Luke's Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, which will feature the moisture farm and Luke's workshop with the T-16 Skyhopper. Now, as well as this, you'll also be able to go to Ben Kenobi's home, Mos Espa, Jabba the Hutt's palace, the Sarlacc pit, Toshi Station in Anchorhead, which is said to be home to Ewoks, and of course Mos Eisley, which features Chalmun's famous cantina. However, the open world will also evolve as you play through the story of each episode. So for example, Jabba the Hutt's sail barge won't be visible on Tatooine in episode 4, but it will obviously be present on the planet during your playthrough of episode 6. Each planet will also be populated with a variety of different alien species as NPCs, such as the Jawas, Rhodians, Aqualish, Deveronians, and Nymodians, as well as rideable creatures like the Tauntaun and Bantha, which you'll of course find on their respective planets. In addition to this, Reddit user Mailman Liam also claims that he spotted a classic shirtless Lego beach trooper standing with many other stormtroopers on the landing bay of the Death Star. You can also explore all of these planets as every character from any era in the Skywalker Saga, so if you want to be able to play as Kylo Ren on Naboo, then you can absolutely do that. You can even freely return to any planet that you have unlocked as you're playing through the campaign of another episode. So for instance, if you suddenly decide to take a break from episode 6, then you can travel to Starkiller Base, just as long as you have already started episode 7 and unlocked that specific planet. Now, once you've landed on one of these planets, there will be a wide variety of things for you to see and do, such as collect one of the 500 Kyber bricks that are scattered across each planet, which you can then use as currency to spend on vehicle upgrades. Another way to earn more currency is by playing through one of the many side quests, which this time around you can actually quit at any time before completion. So you could quit a side quest, start playing another one, and then when you decide to return to the one that you previously exited, the game will still remember your progress from earlier. There's also activities like smuggler runs, which involve you picking up some cargo and having to fly it from one system to the other without being caught by the Empire. And there's even bounty hunter missions, where you have to travel to a planet to seek out a character that'll be hidden on another planet. But it's not all fun and games on these planets, especially on Tatooine, because you may also encounter random Tusken Raider attacks, which actually vary. So sometimes you might run into just a few raiders, while other times you could actually be jumped by a bunch of them, so it's pretty dynamic. Now, once you've finished exploring a particular planet, you can then hop back into your ship, use hyperspace to get back into space, and then choose which planet or sector that you would like to travel to at any time. And just before we wrap up this video, a few other things to mention are that the game will also feature a character customizer. Just don't expect it to be as in-depth as LEGO DC supervillains, although we do know that we will be able to create our very own custom bounty hunter and lightsaber wielder. There are also no plans for post-launch downloadable content at this time, but the team will still continue to support the game after launch with DLC. So basically there will be downloadable content, but what that will consist of has yet to be revealed. Lastly, for those of you that will be picking up the game from the Nintendo Switch, TT Games creative leads Arthur Parsons and James Bergen have assured fans that the game's first build ran like a dream on the Switch. As for the frame rate, the team are still looking into it, but are aiming high as they continue to benchmark and optimize likes the game. Alright, so there we have it. That is every single thing that we know so far about this game. All that's left to say now is that LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga will be available sometime this year for the Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PS4 and PC on Steam. Anyway guys, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more videos real soon, and if you'd like to stay up to date with the latest news on this game, then please be sure to like, comment and subscribe.